Just picking back up, this is session 6 of Get Past Your Shit group coaching. Picking back up where we left off on practice profound acceptance of yourself. One of the things that I learned about studying with Dr. Melissa Pete, regenerative body work, is that we not only do we have a successful pattern for survival, but there's an oscillation to our lives. And this is a really good point in time to bring this up. So Dr. Melissa Pete, generativebody.org. It's always really important to me to give attribution when I'm sharing something that someone else has taught me. If you've been involved in self-development for a while, sometimes you find a book, it lights you up, you think, this is it. This is going to solve all my problems. And, you make some changes, you experience some improvements. And then one day, you wake up and you're feeling kind of puny, little ho-hum. And what does trickster ego immediately do? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? I thought I was fixed. Oh, hell. I guess I'm still the same loser I always was. Wah, wah, wah. Like, and then we look at that book and go, well, I guess you didn't work because I'm still having bad days. And I don't want to suggest at all that I'm having a bad day, but I'll tell you why I'm not having a bad day. Because everyone has an oscillating pattern of energy. Women, definitely, we know throughout our lives, we have a pattern of energy related to our fertility. But even at this stage of life where fertility is out the window and I don't even have any of the parts left in my body, I still have a pattern to my energy. And for me, I get at least one really low energy day at least once a month. Sometimes it's 2 or 2.5 days. I'm tired. I keep wanting to go back to bed. And sure, I can blame it on staying up late, but I don't know. This is extreme. This was so extreme that I ended my stream early and canceled a coaching session. And Tisha and I ditched a working session after the 1 o'clock today. I mostly slept in my bed or sat in my recliner with my eyes closed. Lynn says, are those low energy days around what time of the month, whether something you can recall? Not really. Nope. They're not, it's not a perfect pattern. I'm feeling great. My body feels fine. I have nothing going on here or here, not achy, not nothing, just low key, low vibe, low energy. But here's why it's not a bad day, is that after I learned about oscillation, I learned not to assign meaning to it. Where what I've done for most of my life is say, oh, I'm feeling crappy, I'm feeling puny, that book didn't work, I'm still having bad days. I thought I was better than this. I thought I was over this. Like, I would have a low energy vibe and just start beating myself up about it. Like, what's wrong with me? But, here's the thing is that the question why is it happening is ego. If we could identify, if I were still menstruating, I could certainly identify low-key days with an ovulation cycle. There's all kinds of beautiful scientific proof that says when you are ovulating, that's when you are at your most social and upbeat, and that's when you should be marketing yourself and putting yourself out there. And when you're on the other side of it, shedding the lining, you should chill, because you're going to be low energy. um, Lynn, oscillation is not tied to ego unless you tie it to ego. Oscillation is natural. Bears hibernate. Animals have natural flows where they have lots of energy and then they take it easy. Our lives, we have a natural oscillation, ebb and flow of energy where we come into low energy seasons. Our vibe is a little lower. If we can just stop assigning meaning to it and just take it easy and say, look at my body telling me I need rest. Look at me telling myself, I need to talk less words today. I need to make fewer decisions today. I need to not write emails today. I need to relax and not make it bad or wrong or a mistake from yesterday. just unassign all meaning to those low vibe when it's just a day or two. Just let it go. This is me practicing profound acceptance of myself, that about once a month I have a pretty low energy day and I just go with it. I cancel calls. I let things go. I don't judge myself. And because because I offer no resistance to it, I pass through it faster. When I assigned meaning to it, when I said, man, here I am feeling puny again, looking in the mirror, picking out my flaws, feeling like shit. Here I am again. I spent $10,000 on that coaching program too, and it still didn't fix me. Wham. When I feel the low energy and I judge it and I beat myself up about it, I can take one low energy day and turn it into a 2-week rut. I beat myself up so bad. So I just don't anymore. When I learned about oscillation, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna practice welcoming low energy and flowing with it. And that's all I've done today, is just flow with it. Now, I very seriously considered canceling the call tonight. Super seriously thought, man, I should cancel the call. But as it hit about 6 o'clock, like, it's shit or get off the pot time. I got to let people know if we're not going to meet. In that moment, I thought, nobody there is going to expect me to be an incandescent bulb. I'm going to show up myself, be myself, flow with the energy that I've got, and it's going to be perfect. So this is me practicing profound acceptance of myself and my oscillation. But while we speak to this sort of thing this time of year, pretty soon during November, sometime after my birthday, I get the happy light out, because low light starts to affect my overall energy and mood. I have my ring light that I use for Skype. That's good enough right now. But when it gets darker and darker, I will get my happy light out. It's one of those really, really bright 10,000 lumen, whatever. And I put it right here, like 18 inches from my face, and I blast myself with bright light for 20 to 35 minutes every morning, all through the winter. And then I make sure that my room is pitch black at night. And that helps me resist the seasonal affective disorder that can affect me. I do not struggle with depression. I do not struggle with anxiety in general. I have had brief issues related to health that were debilitating, and I don't want to experience them again. And I know a lot of people do, and I have so much compassion for them. Helen says, I have chronic pain from inflammation. Most days I have flu-like symptoms, achy muscles and joints with no fever, and I'm totally fine. If you have chronic health issues, or if you have constant stress, you've got to give yourself more rest, and you've got to not judge yourself for needing that rest. When I was actively foster parenting, the last 6 months of foster parenting, I was my stomach was upset all the time. I lost like 15 pounds. I was physically becoming a wreck because there was just so much stress and tension in the house all the time. And I had to give myself a break and not judge myself for it. Terry, you have one? You're going to get it out? You going to use it this winter?
Absolutely. I love using it, and I noticed it on the shelf just the other day, and even then I forgot. So thanks for the reminder.
Yeah. Helen, it does work. It is powerful. But it's not an instant fix. The thing is, like, I started using it at the beginning of November. And I start with 15-20 minutes in the morning. Yeah, happy light. If you go to my website, Lynn, the tools I use, I mention it there. It's Verilux Liberty 7500. I mention it because it makes a huge difference. We work at home. I can spend whole days. I can stay home for 2-3 days at a time. You know, and there's only this one window in my house, and there are big trees out there. So there's only a little bit of sun that comes in for a little while. And it's a damn short day in Michigan. So I do not get enough light. So start with 15 or 20 minutes, and then I just keep increasing the minutes until I have it on for like 35 minutes in the morning. And it is right arm's length out in front of me. It can't be like 3 foot away. It has to be right, like diagonal at your face. Let that light just shine on your face and do your work. And then right about the time I will get a feeling of, I'll get a moment where I just don't want it anymore, and I turn it off. You don't want it for hours at a time. But the thing is that you're cueing, your eyes are picking up that light, your body's picking up that light, and it says it's morning. It's time to be awake. And then when you go to bed at night, you make your room completely pitch black, and your body says it's time to sleep. And that's the secret. It's not the light itself. It's the sleep pattern that doesn't get messed up. If I do that consistently, then my sleep pattern stays consistent. Practicing profound acceptance of myself is understanding seasonal affective disorder hits me. It doesn't hit everybody, but I accept that it does affect me. Profoundly accepting myself is not judging it. There are people who are like, yeah, winters make me blue. There must be something I'm doing wrong. It's like, what? Like, honey, like, it's like saying, I'm only 5'6". I don't know what I did wrong. Like, come on, what the hell control did you have over your height? What control do you have over whether or not your body is affected by seasonal light deprivation? All right. Our next page in the workbook. Be willing to experience your fears. What is one of your worst fears? I'm sorry that Bob presents so many fun stories for me to talk about getting past my shit, but I got so much teasing from friends and my son about meeting Bob. First of all, one of my friends didn't want me to meet him at all. One of my friends really kind of went into overdrive about not doing it. They were actually very much team Sam because Sam is local and Bob lives 5 hours away. And they over worried and overstressed about, me driving somewhere to meet him. We're going to talk about border bullies. They were being a border bully, but I had people saying, my son teasing me, what if he doesn't show up? What if, but all of their teasing about what might happen, all of the ways that they wanted to protect me from getting hurt, none of their fears could stand up to my own fears. Was that when we got together in person, that he would take one look at me and just be like, meh, never mind. My worst fears is that he wouldn't find me attractive, that all the connections we made via the phone and via video and everything else, that it just would not stand up to the light of reality. And I was willing to experience that. The decision to meet, the plan to meet, I compartmentalize very well. So I didn't even give myself mental space to really experience stress or anxiety until Friday, when it was time to pack a bag and get going. Then the butterflies start rolling. I was willing to experience it. It's not like I visualized it intentionally, but I even thought about what would it feel like if I could tell the minute that we met that it wasn't right. Or what if he wanted to leave early? Or, I just thought about all the worst case scenarios. What if he didn't show up? What if he is that kind of turd who would make plans and not show up? Like, when my son teased me, it's like, what if he doesn't show up? I said, well, I'll have learned something. And my friend that was really overprotecting me was like, I just don't want you to get hurt. And I said, I'm a big girl. Like, I can get hurt and survive. And I was willing to experience my worst fear. What are one of your worst fears about if you do take steps past your shit? What is one of your worst fears about it? Helen said worst fear would have to be online trolls. Like what, Helen? What would be an example of an online troll? I know what I experience. I mean, I'm a streamer. I'm a Nana game streamer. So I know what trolling is like. I get trolled occasionally. George wants to look out of my salad bowl. Online trolling. What would online trolling look like for you, Helen? when we were early on in the morning show, Tisha and I got trolled one morning by a young man who was poking fun at us being fat. And here Tisha is, she's a body positive, that's her message. It's still really, really hurt her feelings to have that come out of the blue like that, and just have a stranger come straight at us and make references to our bodies as if we shouldn't be streaming. Helen, online troll, false accusations, mean comments, emotional abuse, rude and negative comments. Do you fear these things? Are you experiencing these things? Are you experiencing personal attacks? Helen says, I don't want to be online bullied. Many of my colleagues in the PLR space have gotten bullied lately by a handful of mean vendors. Do you mean competitors? Bullied by competitors? The closest I've come business-wise to being trolled had to do with MomWeb's hosting. At MomWeb's, there was somebody that was reselling our hosting. So they are a web designer and they build websites for their clients. Their clients pay them to host them. And then they buy their hosting from MomWeb's. Someone's trying to call me. And so they're a reseller. So their customers are their customers. Their customers are not our customers. We don't know who they are. We don't have their names, their email addresses, or anything. They're not paying us. They're paying her. Well, when this is my origin story, was how I even met Scott and created MomWeb's hosting, was that I hosted with a reseller. And it's a very risky move. You better trust that person, because if something goes wrong with your website, you cannot reach out to the web host because we don't know who you are. So something went wrong on her end, and several of her clients' websites went down, and a couple of her clients were trying to come to us for support. And we had to say, we don't know you. Your name is not on this account. We cannot give you any information. And, you need to reach out to the person who you're paying. We can't even tell them who that is on our end. Hello? Privacy. Like, we can't say, by the way, Connie owns this site. Go call her. Like, we just can't. So she threw us under the bus and told those clients that it was our problem, and it was not. And then they proceeded to troll my Facebook page with negative comments about how we refuse to provide customer support, and that we were that we refused to help them, that we didn't care about them, blah blah blah. That's my only trolling experience of, sorry about your luck. I would love to help you, but I don't know you. You've never given us money. How would I possibly know you? Helen says, how do you know if you're buying from a reseller? Go directly to the web host. Don't ever let your designer host for you. And ask, are you a reseller? Ask the question. It was a pain in the ass, but at the end of the day, it's just like, whatever. Just whatever. Like, there's nothing I can do. I can't make those comments go away. People can troll you online, there's nothing you can do about it. I have to lean back on almost 20 years of positive reviews and just not let it bother me. But so Helen, if you're going to be in business, you're going to, even if you are the best of the best doing your best, you're going to get complaints. Are you willing? Are you willing to experience it? If you're not willing to experience your fears, you don't get to experience the highs. If you don't get to experience, if you're not willing to experience an utter failure, you can't experience a massive success. Helen, you've seen a disturbing practice lately that vendors that have bigger followings have been bullying smaller peers. Well, there's one thing is to become willing. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm willing to be the next one. I'm willing to be the next person that gets picked on and judged and scorned. I'm willing. And then go write an email. Because if you're not willing to experience it, you're going to hold yourself back in some way. And if criticism is shit that holds you back, then you'll always play smaller and safer. Always. The only other thing that I'll say is you put blinders on, because you're in a big niche with lots of people. And if you're constantly looking like this, you're wasting so much energy in comparisons. That energy belongs into what you create. The next page in your workbook is the perfect next page. What other people think is their business. What you think of me is none of my business. None at all. What my neighbor thinks of me is none of my business. What my coworker thinks of me is none of my business. How much energy do you pour into wondering what someone else thinks of you? What other people think is their business. This was a big part of an earlier call where people said, how do you stop caring what other people think? I don't stop caring, but I process it. It's none of my business. What can I do about what someone else thinks? What can I know about what someone else thinks? I want to give you some new language to go with this page. You could jot it down on the page. What I make up about you is, let's say that I'm in Zoom and I'm sharing some ideas, and one of the people in the room gets a funny look on her face. Maybe she even rolls her eyes a little bit. And I say to myself, I think she disagrees with me. She thinks I'm an idiot. She thinks what I said was stupid. She's sorry she's here. Like, do you ever do that in a Zoom room? Somebody gets a look on their face while you're talking and you're just like, she doesn't like me. Lynn's like, yep. What I make up about you is, so instead of first of all, what other people think is their business. I don't even know if the eye rolling was about me. Like, I have two giant monitors, a phone, a son, and grandchildren, and a cat, all very capable of grabbing a little slice of my attention. So if you see me go, like, it's probably not you. I might be warning my granddaughter I'm in Zoom. Like, or I might be looking at George like, did you just spill my water again, you little shit? Like, you have no idea what I might be thinking at any given moment. But if you were the one talking, when you saw that micro expression go across my face, that's a really good point to remember what other people think is their business. And it's probably not about me. And even if they are thinking about me and it's negative, it still isn't really about me. Because they are reflecting themselves more than they're reflecting you. But I love this phrase, what I make up about you is. So if I'm at an event and I see a woman give me a funny look, rather than rushing to a firm judgment of she doesn't like me, she thinks I'm fat, she thinks I'm wearing stupid clothes, she hates my shoes, she doesn't want me to talk to her. Instead of rushing to that judgment, I say what I make up about her is that she doesn't like me because I'm fat. What I make up about you is. Just adding those words, instead of saying she doesn't like me, what I make up about her is that she doesn't like me, is just holding out the truth that you don't know. You can't possibly know unless the person walks up to you and says, you dress funny, you're fat, and I really don't want you to talk to me throughout this entire event. I don't fucking know that about her. What I make up about you is that you don't like me. Then I can hold that thought and just acknowledge, I don't know. And since I don't know, would I like to make up something different? Lynn says, how does that change the psyche of how we respond? It's right there. Since I'm making shit up, would I like to make up something different? Isn't this wild? When we stop assuming we know what someone else thinks and realize we're making shit up. What if we make up something different? It's crazy what a difference that this can make. Because let me tell you, there's someone back when we were getting ready for the Stretch Yourself Challenge back in August, I was doing affiliate outreach, and I was taking a look at my affiliates from my different business brands, and my eyes fell on someone that Devora. Do you guys remember? You remember Devora Lansky? My eyes fell on Devora. Devora and I have never joint ventured in any meaningful way. We met once at NAMS ages ago. She was an affiliate for White Label Perks. And so I sent her a note and I said, there's a great crossover between the PLR world and Stretch Yourself Challenge. If you would be interested, in possibly joint venturing, that would be really awesome. And she signed up, and I was like, whoa, she signed up. That's cool. And then she sent an email saying, I'm really excited. I'm going to promote this. And I think because we met so long ago and because we had never joint ventured in a specific way, I think I'd made up that Devora didn't like me that much. And so even reaching out to her at all about a JV was a big stretch. But then to have her sign up and come into the challenge and then participate the way she did, and then join my mastermind. I'm so glad that when I was thinking about contacting her and making up that she probably doesn't like me, I'm glad I decided not to roll with that thought, because I never would have invited her then, would I? We're making up shit all the time. What I make up about you is change your language from I think Kelly doesn't like me to I make up that Kelly doesn't like me. And since I'm making shit up, what else would I like to make up? How about I make up that Kelly is just one of those really intimidating women that it takes a minute to get to know. That's way closer to the truth. Have you ever gone to somebody in your family or friends and say, I think you're just lazy, or I think you're just mean, or I think you just wanted to hurt me? That's very accusatory and puts the other person on the defensive. Even if it's true, they don't want to admit it. But when you just change your language and you go to someone and say, what I'm making up right now is that you actually wanted this to hurt me. Is that possible? When you come right to them with the awareness that I'm just making something up over here, then they can, it has a bizarre effect of making us less defensive. Brene Brown says the story I'm telling myself is yes. What I make up about you. And that's what, I use this a ton in my coaching. I use this a ton in my own life. sometimes in a conversation and sometimes just in processing something with myself, you know. So, what other people think is their business. Any thoughts on this? Okay. Next page. Who are your border bullies? There's a wonderful book, The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. I love it. I highly recommend it. It has a Christian perspective, but you can take that or leave that. But in the book, The Dream Giver, the main character is, you know, is a nobody from nowhere who gets a dream and decides that he is going to pursue his dream. And nobody in nowhere, I think his name is Ordinary from Nowhere, something like that. No one in this place ever gets a dream. And so everyone is really uncomfortable with his dream. They don't understand it. They wish he'd just stop talking about it. And when he decides to actually take action and move out of the town to go chase his dream, he's met by border bullies. His mother, his uncle, his friend, telling him, don't do this. You know, we don't do this kind of thing. Border bullies are just operating from their own tricksters, from their own ego. They just want to protect you. Just like my friend who didn't want me to travel to meet a trucker. There was just some border bully energy in there that was just worried about me and wanted to protect me. Who are your border bullies? When you begin to step past your shit to create more of what you want in your life and your business, who's going to get nervous? Are there border bullies that come to mind right now? The essence of identifying your border bullies is you don't have to make a list right now. You're just going to discover them as you go. When you take the bold step and somebody comes to you and tries to talk you out of it, you can go, well, there's the border bully. The key to responding to a border bully is to not let their ego engage your ego. And do your very best to respond to them from essence. To say, I hear you, and I'm going to do it. My heart is drawn to this next step, and I'll be okay. You don't have to protect me. You can listen to them. You can hear their concerns. You can double check to see, have I missed something here? Lynn, you asked a question earlier. So should we not share or cast our fears on friends and loved ones when we worry for them? Should you share your fears with your loved ones? I think if you genuinely fear that they don't understand what they're doing. A conversation is never a bad thing, is it? When my friend came to me and said, I don't want you to do this. This is crazy. You don't talk to somebody for 3 weeks and then go out of state to meet them. You don't do that shit. I'm thinking, I do. But another friend who was not being a border bully at all texted me and said, do you have his driver's license? Does Sean have his driver's license? Do you know who this guy is? And I laughed. I said, well, he's a trucker. Of course I do. Because truckers are like highly Googleable people. She's like, okay, just checking to make sure you're being safe. Like, she was not being a border bully. She was genuinely just addressing a little wiggle of a concern she had that someone she loved was traveling to out of state to meet somebody. That's not being a border bully. That's being caring and considerate. If your mom, if your nana, if you're the protective hero friend and someone's doing something, if you go to them and say, first of all, own that you're bothering yourself with it. When you worry about something, you are bothering yourself with it. That's more new language, perhaps. Instead of saying, I'm worried about it, say, I am bothering myself with this. So, and it really helps to visualize this. So let's say this is the worry. You're literally bothering yourself with it. You're literally bothering yourself with it. You're literally bothering yourself with it. You're bothering yourself with it. Go to your loved one and say, I'm bothering myself with what you're about to do. I would love it, son, if you would run through everything with me. Run through your process. Help me understand how you're, going to keep yourself safe. Would you just share with me? Like, a mom can absolutely ask for that. A mom, a nana, a sister can absolutely say, I'm bothering myself with this and I need to understand. Could you just run me through? Where are you going to go? Who are you going to be with? Can I have phone numbers? What's the contingency and safety plan? Grown children can say, no, mom, none of your business. Leave me alone. That sucks. But they could. But even that's not being a border bully. A border bully says, I'm worried about this. I don't think you can handle it. I'm just going to need you to just forget the whole thing and stay home. You're only going to get hurt. I just can't sit back and watch you do this. That's a border bully. And sometimes a border bully is not just motivated by love and protection. Sometimes they're motivated by extreme discomfort because you are daring to pursue a dream that they have never given themselves permission to do. And if you've got a good friend and both of you have always been kind of miserable, and then you decide to do something to be less miserable, your friend might be like threatened by that. Like, wait a second, no, this is what we do. We're kind of miserable in life together. Who do you think you are that you can all of a sudden be happy? Like, what are you saying? This isn't good enough. I'm not good enough for you. Like, border bullies can be really manipulative. And it's because they're uncomfortable. Because what you're doing scares them and causes them to judge themselves. If you can persevere through your experiences with border bullies, the next people you'll meet will be your champions. Or maybe you've already met one, but typically you meet a champion once you've taken some baby steps. And isn't that true of all of you? I mean, you're here. You participated in this. You're in the final session. Like clearly you're taking baby steps, just showing up as baby steps. But if you can shoulder your way past border bullies and keep taking baby steps past your shit, you will meet champions. These are other people who have chased their own dreams. And they're drawn to you like a magnet because they see and feel it in you that you're chasing your dreams, that you're taking your baby steps past all the protective ego nonsense. You're leaning into your essence, your curiosity, your creativity, your sense of wonder. You're pursuing what you want. Champions are drawn to you like a magnet. So when you're dealing with your border bullies, keep an eye out for the champions, the ones that don't try to protect you, the ones who see your potential, who know you've got this. The people who believe in you. So keep your eye out for your champions and seek ongoing connection with these champions. Notice the people who cannot give up their border bully ways and spend less time with them. I know that sucks. If that's mom or sister or best friend, sucks, but spend less time with them. Share less of your dreams with them. It's not safe. But those champions, the people who make you feel like you can do it, spend more time with them. Make them your support network. Lynn has many champions in her life. Lynn, you are a champion. You're a cheerleader. The last thing that I want to say tonight is trust yourself. Trust yourself. I trust you. Trust yourself. Trust your baby steps. Trust your curiosity and creativity. You are absolutely being drawn to the right people at the right time to support you in taking the next steps. Absolutely. Trust yourself. When you just feel this, I don't want to spend time with this person vibe, don't spend time with that person. You don't have to say, you know what, I don't like you anymore, bye. You can just not call them as much. You can just change the subject when they try to talk about your dreams. You can keep it light with them. And then if your heart is like, I just really want to spend more time with these people, like just do it. Just trust yourself. Trust how you're being drawn in one direction or another. Trust yourself about how you want to spend your time. Do you want to spend hours playing with watercolors? Do it. Do you want to take a nap? Do it. Do you finish something and say, I really want so-and-so's feedback on this? Ask for it. Trust yourself. You've come this far. Curiosity and creativity cannot steer you in the wrong direction. Absolutely impossible. for curiosity and creativity to steer you in the wrong direction. Ego will suggest that it's possible, but it's not. Was it a mistake for me in 2020 to resign from Beachpreneurs and pursue being in a foster parent? Was it a mistake? I'm not a foster parent anymore. It's over. It's done. It was 18 months of woohoo. It's done. But was it a mistake? Hell no, because it took me through blazing hot fire and healed me of childhood traumas in a way that nothing else could have. My curiosity took me there for a purpose, and it wasn't for adoption. It was for healing. And it brought bonus daughter and that whole family into my life, and they're precious to me. And it put me in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment that I wouldn't have been in otherwise, so that when my son left his wife, there was someplace for him and his kids to land. There, like, my curiosity has not taken me in one dead end. Not one. It's a hell of a loop-de-loop, but it's not a dead end. Your curiosity won't take you in any of the wrong places either. Trust yourself. If ego says I ought to, have to, should, ignore that. If I want to, need to, crave, desire, just wonder what it's like, do that. It can't take you to a bad place. It can take you through some bad places, but it won't take you to a bad place. Helen says, I agree for more feedback. So I'm always scared to show others my work and afraid to ask others for feedback. Yeah, we need it, Helen, we need it. Gosh. I rarely ask for feedback on business projects anymore, but there are some times where a sales page, I know even after all of these years, I can develop a blind spot and I can fall so in love with my message that I miss a whole step in the persuasion equation. And so there are moments where if I love a sales page too much, I always go ask somebody very different from me for feedback. I'll go to Cindy Badar, who's very technical and strategic, and say, what did I miss? Because I love it too much. It's like falling unreasonably in love with your grandchildren. You just can't see flaws. So yeah, we all need feedback from someone we feel safe getting feedback from, because there are some people it's not safe for me to get feedback from. There's friends that I don't ask for feedback from anymore because they criticize the very nature of what I'm doing. They say, well, I wouldn't do it that way. I think it's a mistake. I think you should do this. And it's like, no. I didn't ask you whether my essential nature was acceptable. I asked you if you think I've missed an element of the persuasion process in my sales page. That's what I'm asking for. Like, yeah. Ellen says, what happens if my thoughts are, I should have, would have, could have, email more. I desire to share more of my stuff. How do I train myself to like and enjoy emailing? Ooh. That's a great question, Helen. I love emailing. I'm not emailing today because I was feeling low key. My email would have been whatever email I sent today would not have been lively enough to sell what I want to sell. So I'm just not going to email today. I'm going to email twice tomorrow, maybe even 3 times. I'm going to annoy the shit out of my community. I don't really mean I'm going to ignore them, but I annoy them. But I mean, I'm gonna push it because I really want to make a couple of VIP day sales. But how do I train myself to like and enjoy emailing? Do you love your people, Helen? Do you love your people? Do you love your community? There's a line from a Jason Mraz song. What you want wants you. You are a little bit of essence. You are a little dose of the divine in a meat sack on this earth. I am a little dose of the divine in a meat sack on this earth. So is Terry, Connie, Lynn, everyone else. And we have all been drawn together for a reason. There's something magical about the 5 of us in this Zoom room right now. And there's something magical about those who are watching the replay when they watch it. There's something magical about it. The questions you asked, the comments you made, created this session, drew out this particular information. And then you all wrote things down that were your unique insights. You have created something from this session that I didn't create. Like we're amazing. We're freaking amazing to just show up together saying, how do I get past my shit? Every person on my mailing list is there for a reason because they want to be a compelling content creator. I say I love people and make money. I draw people to me who want to love people and make money. I chase my curiosity and creativity, and either it resonates with them or it does not. When it resonates, they stay. When it doesn't resonate, they unsubscribe. I never fear unsubscribes. I just go, it didn't resonate with them. What they need is not me, so they've gone elsewhere. So I write emails from a fear-free space. Except what we talked about with my big offer. I did have some shit about making that offer. I did feel some fear when I wrote that particular offer email. But writing emails in general comes from a fear-free space because I'm not afraid of people leaving. I'm not afraid of bothering somebody. If my email bothers you, unsubscribe. Why would you continue to be bothered by something? Think about, Helen, there's something really cool someone said way back in 2013 at the traffic and conversion event. Was Perry Belcher. Do you know who Perry Belcher is? Just we are media. I am media. I know you think of media as newspapers, magazines, Facebook. I am media. I'm content. I am media. We are all media. There are how many hundreds of channels available on cable? There are how many hundreds of thousands of podcasts? How many millions of books? I am media. People are drawn to what they're drawn to. If I go turn on Netflix, I turned on Netflix last night and I ignored hundreds of other shows to go watch the British Bake Off because that's all I want to watch. Am I rejecting all those other shows? No, I'm just not drawn to them. I will watch every episode of the British Bake Off for the rest of my life and love every second of it and never bake from scratch myself because that sounds awful. I am media. When I send emails, I'm being a media content creator. I'm a creator. Bye, Connie. I'm a creator. I am the media. This is who I am. I write emails because this is who I am. I write emails. I don't write emails because people like them. I write emails. People like my emails because I write them. I do not write them because people like them. People like them because I write them. Is that a pretzel in your brain? If I sit down and say, I need to write an email that people will like, I just stupefied myself. What the hell do I know about what a few thousand people want to hear today? What the hell could I possibly know about that? But I know what I want to say. So I think I'll say it. I create because I am a creator. Helen, you create because you are a creator. And you email because that's how you share what you create. The only time I start to get small about my email marketing is if I've gotten small about my creation. And if the only time I get small about my creation is if I'm not spending time with my community. So the greater question for me is never, why aren't I writing more emails? It's why aren't I spending more time with my community? Which is why you see the nature of my business being Stretch Yourself Challenge, time with my community, group coaching, time with my community, my mastermind, time with my community. Terry, it's in the Stretch Yourself Challenge guide in the principles of content marketing at the back. You can't spend time with your community and not create content. And you cannot create content and not end up building community. Like it's just a constant flow. Impossible to bust that. So for me, it's always, how do I spend more time with my community? And just to speak to the person out there who doesn't have an existing mailing list, you might think, well, how do you get started? How do you spend time with a community you don't have yet? Pick one person and offer them your time. Pick one person and offer them your time. Because if I were in a puny, funky mood where I actually didn't know, what do I want to write about? What do I want to create? I would pick one person. I would pick one content creator and say, can you jump into Zoom with me? I just want to ask you about what you're doing. Offer you a little free coaching. What do you say? And if you're new and you don't know very many people, you might have to ask 5 or 6 people before one person says yes. That's okay. Keep asking. Get that one person in Zoom and ask them about what they're doing and take a look at their stuff. And then, say, would you like some ideas from me? And share your ideas with them. Just spend time. If I spend time with a content creator, even in the most casual of coffee chat settings, I guarantee you I've messaged myself at least one content idea in the middle of the conversation or immediately after, because it's impossible for me to spend time with content creators and not get excited about some kind of content I want to create. Helen says, I'm thinking about writing a series of emails where I'm open and raw with my fears to my list. And I wonder if that will help me get over my email fears. Maybe so. Maybe so, Helen. Maybe you write that series of emails to yourself first. And then ask yourself, what is this an invitation to for my people? All right. Home fun. 6 sessions are done. Like 3 days gone, just like that. Just want to remind you that you did a limitation brain dump and you prioritize 10 items, 10 limiting things that you want to overcome. And then you started to work through what those steps are and what you're going to do, what your next baby step is, who you're going to reach out to for help. And then you're just going to repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it until you've taken so many baby steps that this shit is just getting put behind you daily. You can use the Facebook group for follow-up. If you're interested in following up with some one-on-one coaching, I would love it. I would love to spend time with anybody working on this, going through some of these steps. One-on-one can be really powerful, especially because ego does work so hard to protect us. It can become a little bit of a spin cycle, and I can help you bust out of that spin cycle. So if you go to meskills.com/coaching, the very best way to experience with me is to do the private coaching sampler. That's going to be a one-on-one phone call followed up by 10 days of Boxer or email. So we have this call, we talk about things, and then every day you follow up with, here's the baby step I took, or here's the resistance I'm coming up against, or here's the question that I have. 10 days of aftercare. That is just a great way to experience me and see if coaching would be incredible. Lynn says, what would be the difference of the one-on-one sessions with you versus your special offer of doing the 1/2 day? So the VIP day offer that I'm making right now, there's the in-person, it's the VIP day plus, because you actually get like a day and an evening with me. that is amazing. $1,200, come to me. And by the way, like in 2024, when I start to travel more again, VIP days can be scheduled to meet me somewhere where I'm traveling. I love to add VIP days to events that I'm attending. But the half VIP day, 4 hours, $500, 4 hours is, I mean, the difference is just, it's more of me. But I honestly would not recommend the half day for mindset coaching per se. What I would recommend the half a day for would be if you wanted to do some deep dives into what's really going on under my shit. There are some deep generative interviews that I like to do that need like 90 minutes, 2 hours to accomplish. And then to be able to take a little break and then come back together for another 2 hours to really pull it apart and play with it can be really fucking powerful. That would make me pee my pants to do that with someone. But I wouldn't recommend it unless you have that open space where you don't have to be there for anyone else. Because, you know, we want to be fully immersed in the subject matter. So I guess I'm saying first steps for anybody would definitely be the private coaching sampler, to take that first step. And then, you know, I would love to do ongoing coaching with anybody who is actively seeking to get past their shit, you know, who wants to have regular calls to touch base and to stay in touch with me via Voxer, and to feel that, to have me at your side as a champion. I would love that. But getting started is definitely the coaching sample. So thank you for asking those questions. Thank you for spending this time with me. Have a great night. I know I'll see some of you in Momentum Coaching Mastermind and some of you in the Facebook group. Have a great night.